Mhm. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on what time zone you're in or what time you watch this video. Today we're back with Aurora. It's been a while, honestly, since we done like a solo Aurora song. This one is Starvation, and I am very excited because everything I've seen of Aurora so far, I've loved all of it. Especially the messages that she has behind every single song. So without further ado, love you all. Let's jump right in, shall we? Let's go.
I miss the touch of human hands on my skin. Miss the rush of beauty coming from within. Do I need to be torn just to see who will care? I sleep on the floor, dreaming my life away. Why do we have to die for us to see the light? And we hunger for love. Why do we touch the night when we long to feel alive? And we hunger for love. And the sun is starting. Come on,
Bro. Oh my god. Honestly, like, I feel like Aurora is one of those artists where you don't necessarily know exactly what to expect. This is such a beautiful song. Just from like what we've gotten from the start of this is like her most vulnerable moment, right? In that most vulnerable moment, she's thinking about the other people in her life, thinking about, why do I have to get to a point where I feel like I'm being torn apart for myself to feel like others care, right? And this is it's a comment on the state in which many people kind of live their lives almost isolated, even from one another, even from their loved ones, living in a life where we're not entirely vulnerable with each other because we think vulnerability is a weakness, where we're not honest with each other because we don't want to burden each other with our burdens like that we have, and all of those things lead us to feel very isolated and alone. And this is, I guess, starvation is actually that starvation for love, that connection to human life, and that's what we're seeing here. And I love that it's like, one, the blood is almost symbolic of like, people only realize what they have when it's gone, and sometimes gone means that person's left us for good, right? And that's kind of what she's saying here. Why do we have to die for us to feel like people care, like for us to realize that something mattered? And that is truly, unfortunately, the way that it happens is when someone passes away, that's when people come together to talk and feel the love of what that person was. But at that point, that person's gone. And so you don't get to share that love with the person in present, in existence. You're sharing it with who they were before they passed. And that's very different. And really, that's the tragedy that is love, is that we don't always share our love when that person is here, present, and able to receive it. And that's what she's trying to point out here, is that why do we have to bleed ourselves dry for others to notice, and or for us to feel like we can connect to others? And I really like this shot of the blood because it's symbolic of her actually reaching that final point of saying, fine, if that's what it takes, then I'll bleed myself dry. And to the point that I may pass, and that's when people will realize what love I had for them. And I love that it goes on to this point where there was a bunch of hands coming out of the wall. Where was it? It was over here. And it's like they're all reaching, grasping, begging, just starving, and reaching for that apple of love. And is it an apple? I don't even know. Let me see it. Right here. Yeah. But the apple is almost like poison, because that's not what love should be. You shouldn't have to get to this point to feel that love. And that's all put into the actual like imagery and the metaphor of the image. That's amazing. This is so brilliant. And the dance that she's doing, it feels like she's literally going to war. But that war is almost with herself to overcome those walls that she's built. And that's so damn good. And it almost could be even the ghosts of her past that have brought her to this point. The ghosts of those who she's lost, loved, and not been able to express that love of because she was afraid of that vulnerability, who are dancing with her here. And so good, man. Okay. I don't know where we were about here, I think.
For love, my soul is starving. Come on over, take a bite of the last apple here on earth. Will the virtual mind become stronger than mine? And when my ego dies, will I stay here forever? When the wave crashes down, will my life be better?
Okay.
Why do we have to die for us to see the light? And we hunger for love, and my soul is starving. Why do we touch the night when we long to feel alive? And we hunger for love, and my soul is starving. Break me, chasing the enemy. Gotta deal with the devil, but I got the stamina higher than anything I've ever seen or been. Right now, everything's empty. Starving, craving, chasing the remedy. I got used to the torture, but no one is set to be loved. They break me, chasing the enemy, and my soul is hurting. I got the stamina.
Oh my god.
Why do we have to die for us to see the light? Decorated bones, my soul is
Bro. Bro. I genuinely was not prepared for that. I almost think that it goes beyond now just the lack of vulnerability. I think it almost is the vulnerability of us to our own greed. You know what I mean? Like it's now we're going diving into like almost the idea of we're like okay, so it's multifaceted. It's one is that we are isolated from one another because we just don't connect necessarily in the same ways that we used to. But two, part of the reason that we don't connect in that way is because we're so fixated on greed to the point where the heart that she pulls out is made of gold, which means that your love is truly of those things that are tangible, not those intangible moments of passion and care and kindness to each other. Now it's those moments of like money and currency and whatnot, right? And it's almost that has burdened us to the point so much that it's drove us to destroy ourselves as a species, right? Because now I almost wonder if the why do we have to die is almost a comment on why do we have to get to the point of the brink of extinction of so many other species, including now our own, in the face of something as devastating as climate change and the effect that it will have in the long run. That is mainly a result of greed and incapabilities of many individuals to let go of the idea that money is important. And it even goes back to that idea when she's singing this part, and that's why the red moon almost looks like a hunter's moon, which is like nature, like she's hunting those who are almost like going against nature. And now this is like others starting to realize that yeah, she's speaking the truth. That's why they pulled the veil off of their faces, and we're now able to see all around them, whereas before they had it on their face and they couldn't move. They were almost like blinded, and those were the hands grasping out, and so grasping out for this small meager offering, so many hands were reaching out. And that even tells you a lot about like how the fact that like those at the top give us these small morsels, and we're supposed to be content with that. And it slowly but surely we face challenges that they don't even have to deal with in any semblance, because they have so much power and money as a result that we don't have access to, and those resources we don't have access to. What we are left with is this small offset or offshoot of what they have, and we're expected to live fully and happily and content. And then it's like, yeah, no wonder we are constantly isolated, because we all have to go through so much turmoil just to keep on living. And that's, it's so much. There's so much happening in this one video. And I love also that she pulled the golden heart out of this like bathtub of what almost felt like blood, where it's literally like she sold her soul to get that gold. And that in and of itself is brilliant imagery. And again, at the end here, we get this like breakdown, like this almost John Wickian breakdown. You know what I mean? It felt like a rave, but combat at the same time. And it really is almost like that awakening of everyone's senses has now shifted the way that we're all thinking and the perceptions that we all have, shifting our mindset. And it's now created this moment of like things are like stuttering. That's like like that. It's almost like a stutter of reality. We're like, yeah, you know what? Maybe we don't have to starve. Maybe we don't have to keep going with the status quo. Maybe this monster that we've created can change. And like that's what that ending kind of represents, at least for me. And that's just, whoo, that was such a cool way to end it. I'm actually so just like in awe. And then the dance, man, Aurora, every time she does one of these dances, like it's so graceful, and yet this one also feels so ready for battle, like a Spartan dancing. And that's what she is. She's really truly a warrior at heart. And that's what she's kind of trying to show us, is that we need to break free of our chains and the things that hold us back, and kind of move to a different state of thinking. Wow. This was so cool. I want to know what's like so much. I wish I could like just hear her thoughts as she was coming up with all these ideas, what she was thinking. This is so brilliant. And I want to hear it from her. Like, what does all this mean? It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Also, it's just like the moon in the background like this. It's just all so good, man. Aurora always killing it. This is another one of those songs where I was not expecting that breakdown. And just she does something unique in like everything she does. Oh, all right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that your week's better than your day, your month's better than your week, and your year's better than your month. Love you all, and I will see you on the next one. Man.